Hey guys, Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. I'm going to be giving a quick recap, review, and rundown about what I thought of 28 Years Later. So this is the latest installment in the 28 Days Later franchise, which is a zombie thriller horror post-apocalyptic franchise. So we meet this island community. Um, Basically, we have like three main characters. We have our basic like male protagonist, coming of age character, Spike. He's like a 12, 13-year-old kid. And then we have basically his parents. So his dad is Aaron Taylor Johnson, and then his mom is Jodie Comer. Basically, everybody on the island has their own roles in this community. They're away from the mainland. We're still in England here, but they have their own community that is away from the mainland. During low tide, they have a very small strip of land that they can cross back and forth. So obviously this is, even though they're kind of separated from the mainland, they still have measures in place to, protect themselves. So there's like this giant wall. There's a watchtower. They have like a big light. They have like these big arrows that they set on fire, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So basically, Spike has realized that his mom is sick. She's having like these weird manic episodes, and she'll be like really confused, and she has these fits of anger and stuff like that. She's not infected, so it's not like a rage virus. She doesn't have it. She just has these fits of like anger and confusion and things like that. So I think kind of like the main event that happens during like this first 30 minutes of the movie is basically Spike is taken to the mainland with his father to get some experience with killing zombies, to put simply. They have some pretty close calls, and they actually, once they're heading back to their community, there's a scene where I guess they call them alpha zombies. And these zombies are super fast, they're very strong. So they're heading back to the mainland, and the sun is setting, it's getting dark, and the tide is kind of actually rising. But you have this alpha zombie who's like running after them. It's a very tense situation. It's a great scene. They start shooting him with arrows. They eventually bring him down, and they're at the gate, and they have to check their eyes to make sure they didn't get infected. So basically they let them in. There's like this celebratory party now that Spike is back, and Aaron Taylor Johnson he's definitely hyping this kid up like he killed so many zombies, when in reality he didn't. But anyway, that's kind of like the first major event. Basically during this party, Spike sees that his father is cheating on his mom with some chick in the village. That really upsets him, and he talks to his grandfather about the fire that he saw when they were on the mainland. The grandfather basically lets it slip that, so this guy was a doctor back in the day. And he tries to inquire about it, but then he's like, yeah, if your dad doesn't want you knowing about this, then I shouldn't really talk to you about it. So yeah, that's kind of like the main, for like the first 30-40 minutes of the film. So he's become really disillusioned with his father, and he thinks he's lying to him about a lot of things. He starts a fire so that the people at the wall, the watchtower, can go help put the fire out. But he sneaks his mom out of the village because he believes this guy can actually help cure his mother from whatever sickness she is ailing from. So they make it to the mainland. They basically see this guy who he builds like these towers of bones. He wants to remember the dead. He was a doctor back in the day. He is kind of like just a loner now, and he seemingly can kind of not communicate with the zombies, but I guess he has an understanding of some of them. Like, he gives them names and stuff like that. Basically, there's this alpha zombie who tried to kill them, and he uses morphine to sedate it. But anyway, he basically is like, yeah, so I'm sorry, your mom has cancer, and she's gonna die. So he does these processes where, he takes these people, he basically burns all their flesh and skin and tissue off, and then he basically just takes their skull, and he, to commemorate them, he builds like this tower. It's super weird, right? Um, but anyway, I thought there were some really good moments um, during that scene. But before they get to him, they find this Swedish soldier who is at like this abandoned gas station, and the zombies are after Spike and his mom, and he basically like he saves them. He floods the place with gas, and then or there's some gas that has built up, and then he blows the zombies away. They duck down, and the zombies get blown away. But I was kind of like, okay, well, if the whole place is filled with gas, wouldn't they get blown up too? But anyway, he kind of saves them, and okay, so there's a scene where they're just walking, this Swedish soldier guy and Spike and his mom. Okay, they come to this train, they hear something, and then, they see this zombie lady giving birth, and this is just bizarre. It makes no sense. She goes in the train, and, she helps the zombie lady give birth because she sees she's in pain, so she holds her hands, and this zombie lady gives birth, and then immediately after she tries to kill her. So the soldier kills the zombie lady who just gave birth. And he's like, okay, Spike, put that thing down, kill it. He won't do it, but then this alpha zombie comes and rips his head off. These alpha zombies are super strong and super fast. So they have this uninfected baby, like this baby is just like seemingly a normal baby. Okay. And then that's when they make it to the doctor dude who has this big bone tower. So anyway, I want to throw that in there. That's what happened before they get to the doctor. So basically, like I was saying, his mom is dying of cancer, and she doesn't want to suffer anymore. He's hugging her, and then basically he puts the kid to sleep with morphine, so he passes out, and he does the process where he melts her skin and bones off, and then there's just a skull left. And then he's like, find a place for it. And I kind of knew he was going to do this, but he basically climbs all the way to the top of the tower and puts her skull up there. He takes the little baby back to the community. He leaves a note, and then he basically goes back to the mainland. So he leaves the village after just leaving the baby there, and he just wants to fend for himself, basically. Which I think is kind of weird, but he just feels like his father was lying to him about a lot of things, and he just wants to go out on his own and seemingly explore this desolate, post-apocalyptic world on his own now. Yeah, don't know how he came to that conclusion, that's a good idea, but he did it anyway. We see some zombies coming around like the bend, this winding road. He's gotten better at killing them, so he's pretty good at shooting them. But then he comes to like this toppled bus or car in the road. He's kind of cornered, and then you have these people in like these colorful jumpsuits that come flipping out like ninjas, and they have nunchucks and staffs and knives and swords, and it's a super comedic scene, and they kill all these zombies, and he seemingly is going to join them, and we don't know what they're going to do, but that's kind of how the movie ends. It's so weird. It's such a different tonal shift from the rest of the film. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Overall, I liked this film. It's definitely not as good as the original film, so I have to say that right off the bat. I'd probably give this film a 7 out of 10. It's definitely a good horror film in the zombie genre. You should definitely check it out.